what is try.net?
Hi, welcome to the Hello World Show. I'm Spencer Schneidenbach.
I'm Heather Downing.
And today we have Maria Naggaga, Program Manager at Microsoft and owner of Try.net, which is what she's going to show us today. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome. So what do you have to show us today?
So I'm going to show you Try.net, which is a new initiative at Microsoft. So I'm part of the Visual Studio team, and I'm responsible for net new developer experiences. So one of the things that we've been focusing on is getting C# and .NET running in the browser. So think about every single time you see a .NET or C# sample anywhere, from Microsoft documentation to Twilio or Google or whatever documentation, being able to run those samples in the background. And we're using a lot of Docker and containers to make sure that it's isolated, so no environments are being affected. So I'm going to kind of show you the experiences that we've built so far. So what I'm showing on my screen right now is the Microsoft QuickStart runners. So I don't know if either of you have seen it, but it's the ability to actually go through building your first program within 28 minutes and introducing into things like variables and strings and string searches, and you can actually run all these samples. So what I would do over here is that I could copy over the code, put it in here, and then run it.
Oh, that's excellent.
So you're actually running C# code right in the browser.
Wow. And you said that's powered by containers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're using .NET Core. We have containers. We are spinning up the containers really fast. We're also working really, one of the biggest challenges we had was giving people the performance they've come to expect locally in the browser. So that's been the big thing of how do we scale really well. Things that we've also worked in making sure that IntelliSense is available.
Oh,
so you can actually have IntelliSense right in there. So we're working on different kinds of experiences. So we have the tutorial experience, which is step by step. But then we also have the API docs. And this was really popular with our existing developers. When we show the tutorials, they're like, oh, yeah, that's fun. But the API docs, John Skeet was at my talk this morning. He saw this and he was like, yay! Right? And I was like, thank you.
I saw him tweeting about it.
Yeah, he's like, thank you for being so enthusiastic. He was so excited. And when you go through these documentations, how many times have you actually seen references to APIs and you're just like, okay, I have to go and actually install the tools and do this or run it locally or just assume that it's right, because you always have the code and then like, this is what the output should be. Over here you can actually run, so this is date time. You can run it, takes a while, see the results. So your API documentation is coming to life. So those are the things that we're working on pretty strongly on the team.
That's awesome. I mean, the technical challenge behind doing that, I mean, you're talking about dealing with web latency and then spinning up containers fast enough to get, I mean, the output of that was really fast considering all the technical challenges. Really impressive. Yeah,
and I think that when we built this, a lot of people have had similar solutions like this. You've probably seen a lot of solutions like this, like Replit and SharpLab, and they're all doing this and they're doing it very well. But when we're coming to, from a Microsoft perspective, we have to think about things like security. And that takes the longest time. Like, we built this really fast, and then we took it to our security team, and they annihilated this. And I had to go back and forth with Barry Dorns, who's like, I'm not comfortable with this, but like having that containers has really helped in this experience. And taking advantage of things like Azure Container Instances, where you can spin containers up really fast. Because you have to remember, our containers not only like compiling the code, we're also putting .NET in there, right?
No.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And like, so you're spinning it up, .NET, and we're actually throwing the containers away every 5 minutes. And from the user's perspective, you will never see this happen. You could go on and on writing your code forever, and you'd never know that we're actually replacing and changing up your containers as we go on.
That is so cool. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you for having me on the show. And I think it's like a great tool. We also have our Try.net in its raw form, so a lot of people can just go in and try this out on their own. And this is an embedded iframe. So we have really crude documentation that we are going to improve. So I'm going to show that to you right now. So don't judge me on how bad this documentation looks at the moment. But this is an embedded iframe. And this is all the different features that we have available. So how we run the code. And if you look at the bottom of the page, we actually have a message log of everything that's coming back. Also different things that we've enabled, like being able to define your own themes. And since this is all based on Monaco, we can take advantage of all the work that Monaco has done to make it more accessible. So anything that you're going to see that's cool with Monaco and VS Code is also going to be reflected with the try.net experience as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
Thank you too. Do you have any questions?
No, I think I'm good.
All
Really
right.
impressive stuff.
All right, thank you so much.
Tell us what questions you have for our guests. See you next time.